How's it going? It's Peter from the film scoring department. I've recorded a little song here in Logic 10.2 and I'm going to be working with tempos today. I recorded this in a very simple way. I just set the tempo of the sequence to be close to what I wanted, around 57 beats a minute. And I had a warning click, and I just played along with the metronome, and I played the song. But now as I'm listening to it, I have this idea that I want a retard that occurs there at the end of that phrase. Somewhere along, during bars 7 and 8, I want a retard to give it kind of a sad feeling, some emotion to it. And then I want it to resume, when the phrase starts again at bar 9, I want it to resume the original tempo of around 57. And I don't want to have to re-record this, and I like that it's on the grid. I wouldn't want to re-record it with the clicks off and have it be just kind of wild and not connected to bars and beats in the timeline. So I really don't want to do any of that. I just want to be able to draw in some new tempos. I'm going to click on the global tracks button to show the global tracks, and I can see already that my tempo track is here, represented as this blue line with the number 57 beats per minute, and it's one straight tempo that goes for the length of the tune. If you're not seeing a tempo track, control click in the global tracks area. You'll get this contextual menu where you can show and hide various kinds of global tracks, including the tempo track. And so now you should be able to see a track representing the tempo. There's some settings in here as you edit tempos that you may want to be aware of. We're going to put in a retard, and the resolution of a retard for musical purposes, eighth notes is fine. Even quarter notes sometimes is very musical. But if you're not making a very dead-on synchronization obligation with your timing changes, you really don't need to get into very fine levels of resolution. The quantization I'll leave off for now. Here's an item called tempo sets, which is interesting that Logic allows you to have more than one set of tempos for a song so that you could try different ideas and compare them or make different versions of a song. So I'm going to duplicate this version I have here so that I could go back if I want to. And it's giving me an opportunity to name it. I'm going to name this retard added, because that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to add a retard where I want it. You can scale the size of this tempo track if you like to, just by pulling down or up. The pointer tool can add nodes to this sort of automation line, and I know where this retard is going to occur. It's definitely going to start around bar 7. So I'm going to double click on the line to add a node. I want to resume the tempo of 57 at bar 9. So I'm going to have this whole edit end actually at around beat 4 of bar 8. And I'll explain a little bit more about that in a second. But I just want to have those nodes in there. If I listen to the passage of music there during this, that last note in this whole gesture occurs on beat 3 of bar 8. Right there. That's the final part of this retard, beat 3. I'm going to put a node there. And it's kind of made this little thing here just because of where I clicked that I can pull down a much slower tempo here, the final tempo of the retard, and make it about 10 beats a minute slower than the initial tempo, which is an audible change. You'll also notice that Logic scales the position of the bass tempo where you're editing, and it looked like things jumped up there. There was no increase of bass tempo there. It's just the view that Logic adjusts for you, so it's easy to keep editing because it sees that I added some lower information. It's just kind of adjusting the view. I want to mention now, the reason why I didn't have my retard end all the way at the end of this measure is because sometimes I like to actually have the new tempo start on beat 4 preceding the measure where the phrase starts. That way, if I overdub any live players, they sort of have a warning click in the new tempo on beat 4. It's very helpful if you're going to add anything else to this after you've done this edit. It's a very natural way. And if you look at conductors conducting an orchestra, they give the new tempo during that prep beat when they're moving up to a new tempo from the preceding passage. All right, so I still just have the pointer tool here in my tempo track. I can click on the node that's the top corner of this change here and just drag it backwards to make a retard. And a straight line is a pretty musical retard in most situations, just like that. You could make adjustments, it's flexible, and you could have it do more of a retard towards the end and less towards the beginning. But in this case, this is a very straightforward musical idea I have, and I'm just going to audition it as it is. And as you can hear, it resumed the bass tempo 57 at the start of the new phrase.